For 30 years, Helen's house was the heart of her family. Every birthday, every holiday, every family dinner happened under that roof. She built a life there with her husband, raised her children there, and created memories she thought would last forever. But after her husband passed away, things slowly started changing. Her son Brian and his wife Vanessa moved in, saying they needed help. Helen welcomed them without hesitation. She cooked for them, cleaned the house, paid the bills, and kept everything running. But over time, something painful happened. They stopped seeing her as a mother. They started seeing her as someone who was simply there to make their lives easier. One day, after another disrespectful comment about her food delivery work, Helen quietly made a decision. She was selling the house. When Vanessa heard the news, she was furious. "You're selling the house? Without even discussing it with us?" Helen calmly looked at her. "My decision doesn't need permission." Vanessa laughed, thinking Helen was only trying to scare them. But Helen had already contacted a realtor. The house was listed, professional photos were taken, and within hours, buyers started showing interest. Suddenly, strangers were walking through the rooms Vanessa and Brian had taken for granted. They admired the bright kitchen, the beautiful oak cabinets, and the old maple tree outside. Things Helen had cared for all those years. Then came the phone call that changed everything. Her realtor, Marlene, said, "Helen, we already have multiple offers. One is above asking price." For the first time, Brian and Vanessa realized Helen was serious. The house wasn't just a place they lived in. It was something they depended on. Vanessa immediately called a family lawyer, hoping she could stop the sale. But the answer shocked her. The house belonged completely to Helen. There was nothing they could do. That evening, Brian sat quietly looking at apartment listings. For the first time, he was thinking about rent, bills, and responsibility. He finally realized how much his mother had done. She had handled everything for years while they acted like they deserved it. "Mom," Brian said softly, "I don't think we appreciated everything you did." Helen looked at him. "The problem was never money or the house," she replied. "The problem was that I stopped feeling respected in my own home." A few days later, Helen met Marlene and reviewed the offers. She chose the strongest one. The house was officially under contract. When she told Brian and Vanessa, the silence was painful. "You're really going through with this?" Vanessa asked. "Yes," Helen answered. Vanessa shook her head. "When everything falls apart, don't expect us to come back." Helen looked at her calmly. "I wasn't expecting you to." The following weeks changed everything. Boxes filled the hallways. Old memories were packed away. The house that once represented comfort started becoming a symbol of a new beginning. Brian found a small apartment and began building his own life. Vanessa struggled because she no longer had the comfort she once assumed would always be there. But Helen felt different. For the first time in years, she felt free. On her last night in the house, she walked through every room slowly. She touched the kitchen counter where she had prepared thousands of meals. She looked at the walls that had witnessed decades of laughter, struggles, and memories. She thought she would cry, but she didn't, because she realized something important. She wasn't losing her home. She was getting her life back. Her new apartment near the river was smaller, but it was peaceful. No arguments. No disrespect. No one expecting her to sacrifice everything. Just quiet mornings, fresh air, and the freedom to finally live for herself. Standing on her balcony that night, Helen smiled. Because sometimes the greatest act of love is not continuing to give until you have nothing left. Sometimes it is choosing yourself. Helen didn't leave her family behind. She simply stopped allowing them to leave her behind. What would you have done in Helen's place? Would you sell the house or keep sacrificing for your family? Share your thoughts below.